Hey everybody, Andrew here. I received a little while back ago a little package from Mido. He's on UK Vapors, and this is what it contained. Scorpion blood. And as you can see in this case it's PG, VG. I would imagine that it's probably slightly more on the VG side because it's fairly thickish, and this one's 12 milligram. Now when it arrived, I let it sit for a while, and what actually happens is when you see it, I mean, first of all, it's an amazing colour, absolutely amazing colour. There's a very, very strong smell of it. I mean, seriously strong smell of it. And actually when you let it sit for a while, you can actually see that it separates. And I have a photo which I'll put up now just to show you what that looks like. But all you need is a quick shake, and you're back again and everything is fine, and then suddenly it goes that lovely milky sort of green. Now this is one of these liquids which I suppose has sort of at this stage it's got cult status. There are many people looking for it. Supply wise, yeah, quite often it's not in stock. You see it being traded, you see it being auctioned. And I think that's, once you start seeing stuff like that, you know that a liquid has really reached, sort of the top level in terms of people's tastes and requirements and all of that. So I was absolutely delighted to receive this, because I'd never tried it before. But there's, that was sort of tinged with a little bit of apprehension because I knew I was going to do a review of it. And the basis for Scorpion's blood is aniseed or licorice. And I have not got a good history with aniseed or licorice. A lot of people, I think, when they talk about Scorpion's blood, they talk about blackjacks. Now, blackjacks were these little sweets that we had when we were growing up. If I can find a picture, I'll pop it up now. But there was always the blackjack people and there was the fruit salad people, and I was a fruit salad person. So never went the blackjack route. But there were other little sweets that I liked. Even though I didn't like them, I used to eat them because there was something that used to draw me to them. And these were aniseed balls, and they were little brown balls, and they had a little seed inside them, and they were really aniseedy. And for some reason though, if anybody asked me did I like them, the answer was no, I didn't like them, but if they were around I used to just get drawn to them. I suppose my other, encounter with aniseed is, on the raki side in Turkey. Raki is one of the aperitifs that they have there, very much an aniseed thing. And in the right situation, I do like it. But in most situations, I don't really like it. So what I have here now is I have it in two things. I put it into a cartomizer, as I always do. And then I've also put it into a dripper, an e-barn dripper. So this is running, that's basically a full battery in this, and this is running at 1.8 in an e-barn dripper. So that's one way I'm going to try it. And then this way here, it's just sitting on an Ego C. It's running at, and I can never read the bloody numbers on these things, it's running at 4 and it's on a 2.2 carto. In fact, I might just bump that up just a little bit to a little bit higher than that. Okay, that should do it there. Right, so let's give them a go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go for this one first and see what it's like. It's a bit of an eye waterer, this one. Loads of vapour, as you can see there. Well, okay, it's aniseed. It's aniseed. For me, is it blackjacks? I don't know. I couldn't stand them, so I think I blanked them out of my mind. But is it sort of raki? Is it aniseed balls? Is it, all of that kind of stuff? Absolutely. That's without doubt the main thing here. Throat hit wise, this is 12 milligram. for me it's very nice. Now I prefer the stronger side of throat hits, and this is fairly strong. But it's by no means, you know, going to make you cough and splutter or whatever. It's perfectly manageable, but very, very nice. Now, there is lime in this, and it almost tastes as though there's some other sort of citrus in there as well. And you get the lime and the citrusy part as it's actually on the way in. But then when it's on the way out, you know, and while it's in your mouth, that's when you start getting the real aniseed sort of kick off it. Again, when you exhale through your nose, that actually just even makes the flavour even bigger again. It's very strong. As a flavour, it's very, very strong. Now, some people do mix it down. You know, you just basically add in some more PG to, you know, either the same strength, which will leave it at the same strength, but just kill the flavour back a little bit. Or, you know, if you want to up the strength or whatever, you add in a PG which has got sort of nick at a different strength within it. And, you know, whenever you do stuff like that, you need to be very careful that you don't go and sort of put in too much, because in reality, nicotine, you know, too much of it is not a good thing. So, yeah, there it is off an E-Baron dripper. Really, really nice. It's one of those tastes, it's going to linger and it's going to stay for quite a long time. So let's try it off this thing now. As I said, cartomizer. Again, loads of vapour off it. Now, as you probably know, cartomizers tend to mute flavours back a little bit. And that's why quite often, you know, if I'm doing flavour reviews, I'll actually use them, because there are so many people out there who are using cartomizers and other non-high-end vaping gear that, yes, you can go for a dripper or whatever and you can get the purest taste, but that's not necessarily what a lot of people are actually going to be getting out there. So for me, what I tend to benchmark things on is a carto. Some people disagree with that. For me, it's what makes sense for me, because I know whatever I'll get in a carto, if I actually go into a dripper, you know, then I'm going to get a stronger version of that. The other thing is that if you go into Genesis atomizers and you're using mesh or wick or whatever, or mesh or stainless steel wick or whatever within it, that can also sort of affect the taste. But the interesting one with this is, because it's such a strong flavour, when you actually put it into a carto, it does mute the flavour back. But also what it does, for me anyway, is it actually changes the balance of the flavour a little bit. So when I taste this now, I'm still getting the aniseed, but the aniseed is almost sort of pulled back a little bit, and the lime has actually come up a little bit. So now this has made it's almost slightly fruitier. Now, I wouldn't say it's a fruity vape. It's not, because there's so much aniseed in there. But by putting it through a carto, it's just allowing the lime, and it's a sharp lime as well. This isn't a sweety kind of artificially lime. This is a sharp lime that's actually coming through. And so really within a carto, what's happening is the balance has changed somewhat. So now essentially what you've got is, you know, the lime has actually moved up so that it's in line almost with the actual aniseed. Whereas within the dripper here, the aniseed is definitely on top and the lime is underneath it. Now, this could be just me. This is my taste buds. This is just my opinion. But I think in both situations, you know, it's really, really nice. And this surprises me, because aniseed is not one of my things. But of the two of them, I mean, I love this. I think I like this more, because I think what this is doing for me is it's just bringing that lime through. As a liquid, it is obviously top notch. You know, there's no artificial element to this whatsoever. This is a very, very intense, very full bodied, very rounded, very, it's one of those liquids where, you know, the elements that are within it have actually sort of merged and mixed perfectly to create an overall sort of taste. It's almost like a new taste. And I think that that is the real charm of a very, very good liquid. It's when everything sort of comes together and what you're presented with is a taste that you have never, ever experienced before. Yes, you can get the different elements within it, but the overall thing is a new taste, which goes onto your list as being a taste that you either love or you don't like so much. In this particular case, I really, really love it, despite the fact that I have licorice and aniseed issues. So that really, really surprises me. As I mentioned before, some people will sort of, you know, bring down the strength of it somewhat. For me, I wouldn't really do that. Although I would say that it wouldn't be an all-day vape for me. Because, you know, the strength of the flavour is such that I think it would be fantastic, you know, after a meal as a palate cleanser, as, you know, sort of later on in the evening when you might be out having a particular drink, you know, it could work really, really well with that. But would I have it first thing in the morning and vape it right the way through the day? I don't think so. But I have had it now for a few days, and I've been using it sparingly. But what I have found is that I'd be vaping tobacco flavours. And what I have found recently is that I have kept on going for it. I find myself reaching for it because I just want that little bit of strength. So there's not really much more I can say. I think in both forms it's absolutely terrific. I do believe that Mido, who's the guy who makes this, is also coming out with a new liquid shortly. It's called Yellow. And I'll just pop up a graphic now just so that you can see what it looks like. And that's going to be really interesting because frankly, if it's got anything like the level of complexity, of fullness of flavour, of all of those good things that Scorpion Blood has, then I think he's probably onto a winner with that one as well. Now I'm just waiting on some details of it. Hopefully when it comes out I might be able to get my hands on some of it so we can try it. But yes, finally, in the end, this is a very, very special liquid. Aniseed lovers will absolutely love it. People who don't really like aniseed that much, like me, I would imagine, in maybe the slightly more muted way, you know, where you're getting more lime out of it, I would say would like it as well. Either way, if you get it, and for some reason it doesn't work for you, you can be damn sure that you'll know somebody who it does work for. So if you really want a liquid with, and I've been trying not to say this, but I have to in the end. If you're really looking for a liquid with a sting in the tail, then Scorpion Blood is probably the one for you. Hope you enjoyed the review and catch you all again soon. Cheers! Lovely. Cheers!